Good afternoon. It's another Friday, 5:30 in the p.m. And of course, this is your host for this portion of Hotline 21, Danny Davis, Congressman from the 7th Congressional District. We have a lot to talk about. As a matter of fact, things are changing in different ways in America. Some of those things are things that you like. Some of those are things that you don't like. Some of those are things that you wish would have happened sooner. But always be thankful and grateful. I am grateful for every day that I see. When the good Lord wakes us up in the morning, there are alternatives that could have taken place. One of those alternatives is that you didn't have to wake up. You could have just stayed asleep. And that's why I guess I am so excited about the fact that I grew up the way I grew up, where I grew up, and grew up, with parents who were faith-oriented. I can recall hearing my father praying, and I could hear him say, "Step out on the front porch of high heaven and look down on us with an eye of pity and a most holy and tender drop of compassion. So drop one drop of your rich blood in our deceitful hearts." And we'd be trying to figure out, where did he learn all this stuff from? Especially given the fact that his formal education was 4th grade. But there were just a lot of things that he understood. I also appreciate the fact that sometimes they would be having the NAACP meetings at church, and they didn't mind letting the landowners think that they were having a prayer meeting. They would be having prayer meeting and NAACP meetings all at the same time. Well, you do what you have to do in order to try and accomplish what you need to accomplish. And so I thank God for the mountains. I thank Him for the valleys. I thank Him for all the challenges of life, all of the possibilities. I just got home last night from the United States House of Representatives. And of course, we didn't know that we would be home last night because we had been led to believe that we were going to be voting on today. But we were not voting today, but we didn't know that until the end of voting on yesterday. So most of us hightailed it on out and tried to catch the first thing smoking, getting out of Dodge, trying to get back to Chicago, singing, "Going to Chicago, sorry, but I can't take you, 'cause there ain't nothing in Chicago that a person like you can do." How about that? Well, the big deal in Washington and in other places throughout America is the revelation that many men, especially, but people, have been involved in sexual harassment. And that is making untoward sexual approaches to members of the opposite sex who may find them distasteful, undesirable, and in some places downright intimidating. So much and so until all of the members of Congress and their staffs are going to have to take what is called anti-sexual harassment training. That is training to know when you're not involved in harassing anyone sexually, And you really ought not to do that anyway. You know, my folks taught us not to do it. I'm sure that sometimes people do, in fact, do it. But our parents taught us differently. And I am so glad that H.D. and Maisie Davis and Uncle Dude and Aunt Elnora and Cousin Les and Cousin Campbell, and all those people, Miss Beatty and the bunch that raised us, tried to instill certain values into our minds. So that's one thing that obviously is going on in Washington. Of course, we are saddened to note that some individuals that we respect a great deal have been caught up in this net. John Conyers, whom I consider to be one of the most decent human beings I've ever known in life in terms of my interaction and the things that I've seen him do, the things that he has done, the kind of sacrifices that he has made. I would have certainly hoped that he would have ended his illustrious career differently. But is what is. Senator Al Franken, who's known as a progressive thinker, liberal, I hated to see him leave. But you know, the one thing about the difference is that the Democrats have said to their people that they had to hat up. The Republicans is trying to elect one of theirs. That is Roy Moore. They're trying to elect him, whereas the Democrats have been trying to clean out the swamp. And so people ask you sometimes, they ask me, why are you a Democrat? Well, I can tell you there are a lot of reasons that I'm a Democrat. There are a lot of reasons that I support what I support, politically, socially, economically. And you should too, and I'm sure that many of us do. But you know, this is an opportunity for us to talk about anything that we want to talk about. And so I am delighted to open up our lines to you and say that our lines are open. Some of us are still moaning and groaning about the tax changes. I certainly, for one, I'm doing it. But I'll also make a little notation of the fact that some people, many people, more than 3 million people have signed up for the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. You still got a few days to do that, and if you haven't signed up, sign up. Make sure you can take advantage of the health care that is available. Read your community newspapers. I'm looking at the Austin Voice, and I see on the front page a photograph of the new president of Loretta Hospital, Mr. Miller. I also see some other folks getting awards, like John Hooker, who is the chairman of the board of the Chicago Housing Authority. I see Terry Peterson, who's vice president at Rush. I see Brad Cummins and Commissioner Dennis Deere, one of the newest appointed officials in our community. He has not been elected yet, but he will be, I hope. And so there are a lot of things going on. We just had our recap of the state of the African American male. Let me tell you, I try and convince people that things are not just projects or things that you do for a day or a week. Life is ongoing, and life is all the time. And you cannot accomplish what you're trying to accomplish with just a one-day conference or 1 week, whatever. Just does not happen that way. You have to get up every day. And if you want to slay a tiger, you have to go out and decide which tiger do you want to slay. So give us a call. You can give us a call right now, and I do believe that we have a caller on the phone. Caller, go right ahead.
Yeah, how you doing, Cousin David?
James, I am doing great. How are you?
Okay, now, I've been quiet about this. I'm not surprised, I'm not shocked. Now, Donald Trump, in the media, always tell people to call the police, right?
Yep.
Okay, you already know this. Now, they got in, Alabama, and, but he did harass, and a lot of people. Now, the media was part of that, and all this. Now, if I did something like that, Cousin David, you probably tell me to turn myself in, but Cousin David, Donald Trump did not turn himself in. The guy, if they don't turn himself in, why Frank had to step down? Because if he stepped down, Donald Trump should step down, and the guy in Alabama, the governor, and the police, they all in on it, and they harassed too.
Well, you know, somebody accused President Trump of obstructing justice, and his lawyer told him, say, the president can't obstruct justice. The president is the president. And I guess he was sort of implying that maybe the president is above the law. And maybe the law applies to everybody else, but not the president.
God was here with the president. God was here with the president. And if it was me kind of day, you would have kept me shut myself in. And like I said, like, the media is part of it. And they want people to turn themselves into the police. Again, somebody harass them. Again, they will tell the
well, you know, we have to keep fighting for what we believe in. We have to keep struggling. I know that there are a lot of people who would like to dismiss the president, but you can't just dismiss the president because the president got elected. And while he did not get the most votes, he got the necessary votes to be elected president according to the way that we elect presidents. And until we change that system, then he would have been and did get elected.
I'm not shocked and I'm not surprised. If our president stepped down, but all of them should step down too, Cousin David. And the police should step down. They harass people too, Cousin David. And the media always tell people to turn themselves in. I don't hear them saying nothing about that.
All right. Well, you know, everybody got their own opinion. And while we are talking opinions, let me make sure that I invite you to our annual holiday Christmas dinner party on Thursday, December the 21st, 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock at the Columbus Park Field House. That's 500 South Central Avenue. Everything, of course, is free. We are going to have some quartet singing and other kind of things going on, but all the food you could possibly want.
Okay, good.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. We're delighted to speak with James, as we always are, and we'd be just as delighted to speak with you. And so you can give us a call and let us know what's on your mind. Tell us what it is that you're thinking about. I'm looking forward, and if it's nothing more than, are you looking forward to the holiday season? I always say I'm not going to get carried away. that I'm not going to do all kind of things. But you know, as the time starts approaching, my thoughts and ideas change. And I always say, I'm going to do whatever it is that I can to try and make somebody else happy during the Christmas holiday season. Caller, are you there?
Hello, Congressman Davis.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, this is Miss Gray, and I was hoping that your office could get out the word of how some of these utility companies are getting into people's buildings and telling them that they could make their utilities cheaper, and they ask for their bill, and then they take their electronic device, whether the person wants to change or not, and then they change their service.
I will help make sure that people get the word, and they got to watch out for things that go on electronically. I've had my own identity theft problem. I've had a problem where individuals were paying their bills out of my checking account. And so it's real, it's alive, it's frustrating, and you need to do everything under the sun to try and protect yourself. My mother used to always say, especially if somebody comes around and they want to give you something, she used to always tell us to always look a gift horse in the mouth. And we didn't always know what she meant, but I discovered that somehow or another she had read the story about the Trojan War and the story of the Greek War, where one side offered the other side a gift, which was a big Trojan horse. And inside the horse was a group of soldiers. And of course, when they let the horse in the gate, the soldiers jumped out and carried the day. So I agree with you. And we will do everything we can to make sure that we get the word out and that we help people to know that they must protect themselves, because there are a lot of tricksters out here looking to take advantage of people, and we don't want to see that happen.
Yes, and it would be nice if the utility companies, if the customers call in and say, someone showed up and said, can I see your bill to show you how I could save you money, and switch them at the utility companies like ComEd and People's Gas or whoever, help them to get their service switched back and not be paying out all this extra money to this new company.
All right, and since we are going to have a large number of senior citizens at our Christmas party, we always do about 700-800. We'll invite some people to come and share with them how to be on the lookout for fraud.
Thank you so very much.
Yeah, we'll make sure that people from consumer protection agencies are there and in between the turkey and the dressing and the cranberry sauce. We'll share some information.
Well, Merry Christmas to you and Mrs. Davis, Miss Congressman Davis.
Thank you so very much, and I am just delighted, and I will tell her when I get home.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay.
We'll go to our next caller. Caller, are you there?
Yes, sir, Congressman Davis. Looking mighty spiffy as usual.
Well, you know, I have my gray on today, you know.
I'll be going to San Antonio, Texas with my family for the Christmas holiday.
All right.
I say this because you're one of the men who talk from the heart, which means you're telling the truth.
Well, let me tell you, there are so many wonderful people.
People our people, and I want to thank you so much for being outstanding. But I want to wish you the merriest of Christmases and the safest New Year. And I also want to thank, I think his name is Steve. I want to thank him and his family a Merry Christmas, a safe New Year. So I'll be going to San Antonio tomorrow. They don't get here. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you, Steve, your wife, and all the crew that's bringing this to us. Thank
Well, thank you. Thank you so very much. And there are just so many wonderful people in the world. And you caused me to give out a shout out to a gentleman who passed away, Mr. Escott. And his funeral is tomorrow. But his family his daughter let us know that he had passed. And she gave us some information about her father. And she said he was the 29th child in a family of 30 that his mother and father had, and that he just grew up loving his family and loving his people. Then he married a lady who had 16 brothers and sisters, and he fell in love with all of them. And he just helped all of them whenever they were doing something, if he could. And that he always taught his children to try and be the best, to try and be helpful to other people. And he just seemed like such a wonderful, wonderful gentleman until yesterday I went to the floor of the House and took out what we call a 5-minute and spoke about his life for 5 minutes. And I ended by saying that he and his family are the epitome of the kind of people that I represent. And I just wanted to share his life and his family with other people throughout America. And I hope that we just get an opportunity, if I don't get a chance to go, that someone from my office will get an opportunity to attend the services tomorrow. And his daughter was just so gracious in providing the information and was such a delight. And so they're just a lot of wonderful, wonderful people. I was listening to the song the other day that says, Christmas is just a great time of the year. I mean, it's a time that you can relax for a minute. Don't stop doing all the other stuff that you do. You got to go to work. Make sure you keep trying to register people to vote and empower them. Keep telling them that they need to be involved and engaged in all the things that are going on. But at the same time, let them take a moment out. Who knows? Cook a cake. Maybe you don't cook cakes that often. So maybe you'll cook a chocolate cake for Christmas. Do something a little different than what you normally do. I was looking on my wife's dresser the other day, and I was looking at her Christmas list. And I guess one of the things that I appreciate about her is that she has such a giving spirit. And so she had a list of just all kind of people that she was going to be getting Christmas stuff for. And I looked real close, and at the top of the list was Danny. So I had to smile about that and say, yeah, I'm on the list. So I can hardly wait for Christmas to come to see what Santa brought me. You know, and singers and writers have put so much good stuff together about Christmas. Let's go to the phone. Caller, are you there?
Yes, yes, Congressman. First of all, let me just get this in. I like to wish everyone a wonderful, wonderful holiday to them and their family. And also, Ray, also to you, Ray, and you and your family. And James, James, I've been around you a long time. It's so good to hear you. And Merry Christmas to you also. But Congressman, it's a great day to be on God's green earth. That's number one.
Yes, sir.
Number two, sometimes we need to learn to be honest with ourselves. Me and a group of men, we was talking one day, and you always hear all this harassment and stuff. When we was kids, we did harassing girls. I've been with my woman ever since I was 10 years old. I'm 68 years old. I remember how I harassed her just to get a kiss. Just a kiss. I love that woman more than anything on God's green earth. Ain't nothing in the world. I just lost my mother not too long ago. I couldn't take another loss. But let me tell you something. The difference is men, they keep on profiling it and keep on doing it. Those are the ones that have a problem. You know, I'm not even going to mention his name, so you know I'm going to leave that alone. But that man was just a citizen running for office while he wasn't prosecuted. But again, there are many men. Let me tell you, somewhere in our lifetime, we have harassed a woman. But if you keep on doing it, you know you have a problem. And then that's where you seek and try to get some help.
Now, I think pursuit is a little different than harassment. I'm
Well,
saying, and I think it's nothing inappropriate to try and connect with mates and connect with people. And I guess harassment is when something takes place that's unwanted, that is rebuffed and still occurs anyway.
but see, that's still the same pursuit, what he was doing when he was young. He's still pursuing after something that he had did time after time after time. That's a problem. But see, as we get older, things stop, you know, with some people. But then some people, things keep on going on. But again, let me tell you, I think Christmas, we have a thing that we really forget. This is a celebration of Jesus Christ,
Yes.
his birthday. And he give us all the joy in the world. So we need to learn to give joy out to other people. And Ray, this is to you. You might hear me say some things, but it's just an opinion. It's not nothing to dislike you. That's not my play. It's just not my play. But if I need to be corrected, I would take criticism also to check myself. So again, that's what people need to do in life. Don't want to go and grab a gun and cussing and hollering and all that mess. That don't settle nothing. Now, again, look at you, Congressman. I've been looking at you very many years, and you come to this show and you take time and talk to us. And I know over the years, some things we have spoke to you maybe stick with you at work.
Oh, man, I tell you, it does. I actually talk about sometimes, especially when we're in debate and we're debating issues, I will say the people in my district, as a matter of fact, I remember as we were debating the tax bill, the last thing I said when we debated Monday, I said that many people asked me over the weekend, what was I going to say to the conferees? We had a motion on the floor to instruct conferees. And I said, they asked me, what was I going to say? And I said, I'm going to say to the conferees that I hope as we structure the ending of this bill, that you would try and help the needy and not the greedy.
See, that's the goodness in your heart. That's what that is. That's the
Yeah,
goodness in your
yeah,
heart.
help the
Listen,
needy.
I'm going to wish Donald Duck a happy Merry Christmas to him and his family. He's not allowed to come to my house, but I wish all the good things. I wish everything he supposed to get. I hope he get it.
But aren't they slick? I mean, he decided that he wanted to go and have a rally for
Yeah, that's tonight
Mr. Moore.
in Florida.
So rather than going on into Alabama,
Yeah.
he go
Well, he's
right
close
to the
it.
border.
Hey, why don't you get him to come on TV with you?
So the press would cover Alabama, and he can still say, I didn't go to Alabama.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
I didn't go to Alabama.
Yeah, but he's real close. He could throw a rock.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, he did. But listen, get him to come to your show and let us call. Listen, I know there's other people want to talk to you, but again, I'd like to wish all the listeners a wonderful, safe holiday. I wish you and your family a wonderful, safe day and a good holiday. Let me get out there so I can hear your response. And again, Congressman, thank you for you just being you. Thank you for there for us every Friday. You have a great night.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and you have a wonderful evening and a great weekend. You know, sometimes patience, and you just have to accept disappointment. I was very disappointed last night when our new schedule was put forth for the week of the 18th, the 19th, the 20th, and all of that, because we were scheduled not to go to Washington. But because of this every year cliff-hanging thing, we can't get a budget passed. We always end up with these continuing resolutions, which really just fund enough to keep the government open supposedly until you can agree on something more permanent. But I was scheduled, and I'm still scheduled, to go to Switzerland on the 18th. And I even had a meeting scheduled with Kofi Annan, who used to be the head of the United Nations. And we had several meetings scheduled with United Nation type entities. And we were going to meet with the World International Intellectual Properties Association. And it just looks as though I may not be able to go, because if we have votes that are designed to determine whether or not we keep the government open, I got a feeling that I'm going to decide that my greatest responsibility is to be there to represent my 700,000 constituents. And we've put a lot of work, a lot of effort into this work that we're trying to do with the United Nations. It's just not every day that you get a chance to go to the United Nations. Plus, I was looking forward to seeing my next door neighbor's daughter. She works in Switzerland and is the chief of staff for one of the major corporations that are there. And I think of the fact that she was a little girl, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. She got married a few years ago, and my wife and I went to her wedding, and I thought I'd get a chance. But it looks as though it's just not going to happen. Caller, are you there?
I would like to congratulate you on all your effort and all the great job you're doing. And now I need an extra favor for you. I'm an old precinct captain. I want to get Kennedy out here in my area.
All right.
How do I go about getting this young man out here?
We will make sure that we help you do that. You can certainly call me and tell me the area, and you can actually tell the area now if you'd like.
Okay.
But what part of the city?
Yes, I'm in the 3rd district.
Oh, in the third congressional district?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That would be Representative Lipinski's district in terms of a congressional district.
Oh, really?
And it would be on the south and southwest parts of the city and in the south suburbs.
Give me your phone number so I can pick you up.
It is 773
773
533
533
7520. And if you would call and give the information to Crystal Overton,
Over.
we'll make sure that it gets communicated out.
Now you say that's 773 533 7520.
20.
Okay, thank you very much and keep up that great job.
All right, thank you. Thank
All right
you.
now. Bye now.
You know, when people talk about not working, talk about quitting, talk about not doing things, how could you not be involved? I mean, as many things as there are to be decided, as many things as there are, I'm looking at things that I'm supposed to do tomorrow morning. Loretta Hospital have their annual visit with Santa Claus at the Columbus Park Refectory at 5701 West Jackson Boulevard, and from 10 to 12. And so children in that neighborhood are going to get a chance to visit with Santa Claus. And I want to thank State Representative Camille Lilly because she has asked me if I would come and share the Christmas story with the kids who are there. You know, the night before Christmas and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. Stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in the hope that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were all nestled snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. Oh, can't you just imagine a little child, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, saying you better go to bed because the Sandman is going to come and put sand in your eyes if you don't. Or you better watch out. You better not shout. You better not cry. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. Yeah, and if he's not coming, he ought to come. Let's go to the phone. Caller, are you there?
Knock, knock.
Yes, sir.
Knock, knock.
I hear you knocking, but
Who's
you
there?
can't come in. That's what the blues singer said.
Well, it's a knock, knock joke.
All right. Well, thank you so much for calling.
Oh, okay.
Go right on. Let me tell you, I heard an interpretation of Christmas last Sunday. I had the good fortune to worship with the people at the Mars Hill Missionary Baptist Church. And the pastor, Pastor Stores, did a sermon centered to some degree around Mary, the Virgin Mary. And And it was so profound. I mean, at the end of the service, I said this. I said, you know, I've heard a lot of sermons. I've heard a lot of preaching. I've been going to churches for a long time. But I had never heard a sermon that impressed me more than that sermon. Matter of fact, when I think of sermons, I sometimes think of my father, who was not a preacher. But my father used to say, I'd much rather see a sermon than hear one any day. Meaning, and the way it went on and on and on, so I'd rather have you walk with me than merely point the way. And one of these days I'm going to say that one Friday. But there are so many ways. There are so, for the last more than 20 years, a group of volunteers and people that I work with and others, we've gone out on Christmas Eve. We go out every Christmas Eve and visit shelters for battered women and children. We really got into it with a lady named Sister Lula Walker, who had a program called Tabitha House that she developed. And we've gone to shelters where little children are sleeping on the floor, on concrete. Sometimes they'd have a cardboard. Sometimes they'd have quilts, blankets. Oftentimes, nothing. There would be no Santa Claus in their lives. Their mothers would be victims of domestic abuse. Their boyfriend, their husband, or whoever would have beat them up and run them out of the house. And here they are in these shelters with little children. Sometimes there wouldn't be enough heat. So Sister Lula escalated the shelter business. She and her husband and family, they were members of the Church of God in Christ churches. Bishop Austin was their pastor up in the Cabrini area. And we just had so many wonderful, wonderful Christmas Eves with them and the ladies and children at Tabitha House. Both she and Brother Walker have both passed on. But let's go to the phone. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I am. I'm just calling to say God bless you.
such a good heart to get that story. God bless you.
Well, go right ahead. Thank you. Thank you. And you know, there are thousands of children, not only in Chicago,
Everywhere.
there are children all over this country who are homeless, who teenagers who can't get along with their parents and who find it necessary to just simply leave home rather than to try and get along. And so we have tremendous need, and we've let the Children's Health Insurance, something called CHIP, Children's Health Insurance Program. We've let the authorization and the time for funding and all of that kind of run out. And when I think of children, I think of the songwriter who said that our children are the future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride. And we should never, ever allow our children to be abandoned, to allow our children to have less than what they need.
Right.
And so I just want to thank you for your call.
God bless you.
Thank you.
God bless you.
All right. We'll go to our next caller. Caller, are you there?
See, Congressman, that's why we feel for you. You are showing up our people. I think what needs to be done, why don't you ask CAN TV, can you get a copy of this? And when you, no, seriously, because see, some people have had this situation, but they forget about where they come from. Then you got some people don't have no idea what you're talking about. It's on both ends of the party. See, it's different from a person standing on the corner in the cold trying to get on the bus and don't even have the bus fare than somebody go and get in their car, start their car, brand new car, and go anywhere they want. See, people don't understand certain things. Take this episode here. Take it to work with you. Let them see the tears come from your eye, the sincerity from your heart, and it might change something. If you could change two other congressmen, if you could change two others, guess what? What they could do to help some more people. Take this tape back to work with you, please, and then let us know. Thanks for taking the call again, Congressman.
Thank you. And I turned my sheet over, which is a schedule, and I want to make sure that I announce that there is going to be a praise and worship service for Mary Swopes at the La Quinta Center, 4900 South Lakeshore Drive, first floor, on Sunday, December the 10th. Mary Swopes is a woman who started the Miss Mahogany Foundation. And over the years, she has mentored so many children and have introduced me to so many children who have become outstanding citizens, like Ayinye, the young fellow who actually spoke at the Million Man March. A young woman named Taylor Moore, who's one of the brightest young people that I've had the good fortune of coming into contact with. So if you know Mary Swopes, or you had any contact with her, or ever went to any of her events and all of that, on Sunday, there will be, and Mary has been ill. She's in rehab, and she's obviously well enough now, at least for people to come and pray for and with her. And so I will be pleased to do that and will do that. And if you know Mary, why don't you come on out and, be engaged with her and do that. It would be wonderful. Do we have another call? I don't want to miss one. Don't want to miss any. Well, let me tell you, it is kind of tough. Things are indeed difficult. There's a caller right there. Caller, are you there? Yes,
Hello?
go right ahead.
Yes. I was wondering, how do I get a tour of the White House? I was trying to get a tour of there.
Let me tell you, all you got to do is give my office a call. We haven't had as many requests this year as we usually get, and ask for Joseph Peters.
Okay.
The number is 202
Uh-huh.
225
Okay.
5006.
Okay. And you know how long will it take for them to schedule?
Well, it depends. It depends on how many requests there are. But if you already know when you're going to be coming to DC, if you just give us that information, then we'll try to match you up with a tour at the time that you've already scheduled that you want to be in DC.
Oh, okay.
All right. So
Thank you very much. Good to hear you again.
thank you so much.
Until next week.
Okay. Give Joseph a call, and he'll be delighted to try and hook you up so you can go and visit the White House. And who knows, President Trump may even be there when you're
You
there.
never know. I met Obama a few times, so
All right.
when he was here. So.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And I think we have to respect our national leaders, our local leaders, and the White House is the White House. There are people who boycott different things. I know that my friend John Lewis and Bennett Thompson boycotted the Freedom Museum, the Civil Rights Museum in Mississippi that was opening because they didn't want to be there with the president. Well, thank all of you for calling. Thank you for sharing this time with us. Be prepared for a great holiday season. Do something nice for somebody else, and I guarantee you somebody will do something nice for you. Blessings upon you and your house, and we'll see you next week.